All right, so boom. I'm so sick of this social contract, invisible line between men and women in WWE. If you watch Monday Night Raw earlier today, you would have saw the segment where Becky Lynch essentially slapped and punched CM Punk, all while wiping her forehead on his chest for some apparent reason. I don't know what that was supposed to mean. If that's some form of intimidation, somebody let me know if that's something that's Irish. But whatever the case just so happens to be, I am sick and tired of this new age WWE, really since the PG era, where dudes can't lay into women. Contextually, of course, when the women lay their hands on men. Because, of course, if we're talking about outside of WWE, I completely understand the sentiment. But in the context of a wrestling show, where fighting is what's on the marquee, if you raise your hand against a fellow wrestler, all of a sudden we're supposed to believe that if this wrestler were to raise his hand back towards the assailant, who happens to be a woman, that makes him a bad guy? I'm so confused.
Fucking bullshit!
And we were all thinking it during the segment. Had that been Randy Orton, Becky Lynch wouldn't have even been able to finish the sentence. Moreover, she probably wouldn't even have came to the ring because you knew the RKO was coming, because Randy's one of the very few who say, wait a minute, we're all professional wrestlers, right? RKO your shit. Like, with nobody else understands this. It's very confusing. And again, contextually within a wrestling ring, because you have to understand, you're literally watching violence the entirety of the show. People get attacked backstage with tire irons, steel chairs, kendo sticks. Motherfuckers is getting jumped left and right. But all of a sudden, folks think, well, you know, it's a PG program. You wouldn't want the sponsors to think they're promoting domestic violence. You're promoting violence the entire show. And again, contextually, we're all professional wrestlers. Everybody's doing the same job. You mean to tell me this man can't raise up his hand in retaliation for being low-blowed in the main event and getting cost the championship? Because had it been Seth Rollins who came out and interrupted CM Punk or answered the call, because CM Punk did call for Seth Rollins to make his entrance. Had it been CM Punk who was standing there in the middle of the ring and Seth Rollins came in and answered the call, you think there would have been a conversation? No. Hands would have been thrown immediately. But for whatever reason, because it's Becky Lynch and she happened to have the XX chromosome, now you can't throw hands no more. And again, the Attitude Era was a different time. Ruthless Aggression Era was a different time. Stone Cold, well, he's a babyface. Stone Cold was stunnering Stephanie McMahon any opportunity that he got. Triple H and just Stone Cold beat the living shit out of Lita. But when it makes sense, and you caught somebody in a feud, how are we supposed to believe there's some invisible barrier preventing you from being able to retaliate? And again, it's not as if CM Punk just come out. You just jump Becky Lynch for no reason. She cost you the World Heavyweight Championship. She proceeded to not only punch you in the face, slap you numerous times over. Remember when Nia Jax entered the Royal Rumble? And although you had the super kick from Dolph Ziggler, the 619 from Rey Mysterio, and then ultimately the RKO from Randy Orton onto Nia Jax, remember how awkward it was when she first entered? Because everybody was like, oh, do I hit her? I'm shocked. What is she here for? I don't know if we could put hands. What do you mean? Like, if you go back and you look at that moment, she entered into the Rumble and folks was like, well, what do we do? China was wrestling with dudes, but it made sense. If you were a lady who got involved in the men's business, you had to also open up the door to the fact that there's possible consequences for what it is that you got to do. Okay? It's not a situation where it's on, man, I can't do nothing. I gotta make sure, let me get my wife to come out of retirement in order to come and handle this light work over here. Like, what are we doing, son? Y'all remember 2022 and 2023 when Judgment Day interrupting everybody, right? Rhea Ripley was whipping dudes' ass damn near weekly. There wasn't a single dude who got their get back on Shorty. She was slamming Luke Gallows. She was spearing Kevin Owens. She had a one-on-one match with Akira Tozawa. Tozawa got no offense in. Mans was getting brutalized the entire match, then finally was able to dodge Rhea on a spear in the corner, ended up missing on his damn finishing splash, ended up getting a riptide for his troubles. He lost in the first intergender match in years. AJ Styles done caught it. Edge caught it. Everybody was catching it. Nobody got no get back on Rhea. For years, we've been seeing For different times, not consistent like that, but on different moments, you have ladies get involved in the men's match, and for whatever reason, the dudes got no sort of response for what transpired. You gotta trust that there's gonna be some lady who aligns with you that now goes and say, I'll take up for you, and puts hands against the lady who happens to go and gets involved in your match. I'm sick of it, fam. I'm sick of it, because again, we watching wrestling. The context is a wrestling show, and I recognize this is all to set up a possible storyline where maybe we get AJ Lee coming back, but that's not a guarantee. We might just mess around and get swerved, and guess what? It's Bayley who goes and answers the call. Or maybe they just have Rhea go get involved, because right now Rhea don't really got no story outside of what's happening with Damage Control. I should say the Kabuki Warriors going and most likely ended up turning on Io or whatever, but that got more to do with Io and Asuka and Kyrie and less to do with Rhea herself. So there's a possibility it could just mess around and be Rhea who comes to Punk's rescue. We'll let that unfold over time, but all I'm saying is, why is it that we're supposed to sit here and be obtuse about the situation? Becky Lynch can just get involved in the main event, and of course, contextually, it makes sense. She's defending and making sure that her husband retains the championship. Cool. But let's say AJ don't come back. What's all this for? Because who's gonna be the member of, well, not really a member of CM Punk's group, because he ain't got no group, but who's gonna fight on behalf of Punk, Jay, or LA Knight to deal with Becky? You gotta just find a miscellaneous woman on the roster who now got beef with Becky, who got nothing to do or no connection to Punk in order to get involved. Like, what we doing, man? I'm tired of this. I'm tired of it. And I know, it's kayfabe, all this other, but bro, you can't try to make it seem, and the commentary be making it say, oh, yeah, he can't put his hands on. Why? Why? Austin, that made him a legend. We acknowledge that Randy Orton wouldn't play that shit. Everybody else play by different rules. Maybe I'm tripping, fam. Maybe I'm tripping. Y'all let me know in the comment section if I'm wilding, bro. I'm not sitting over here saying every single week we gotta have motherfuckers getting lined and shit. All I'm saying is, if she put a hand on you, why we make it seem as if it's an inconceivable scenario for you to raise up your hand and put hands on her? We watching wrestling. We watching wrestling. Y'all both wrestlers. She could take a bump. She took one yesterday. Hey, I appreciate you watching the entire video. Make sure to hit the subscribe button and the like button on the way out if you haven't already. And on top of that, hit that notification bell as well. For whatever reason, YouTube's only showing my videos to 20% of my subscribers. So if you have already turned on the notification bell, turn it off, turn it back on. If you never turn it on, turn it on. I appreciate you.